All right, welcome to the stock group. Today is Saturday, November 20th. Um, so, as usual, we'll get started with what did the market do this past week? Um, let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial. Okay, this week has been interesting. Started a down day Monday, Tuesday was up, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was down on the Dow. NASDAQ actually opposite. NASDAQ started the week down, had a good up day Tuesday, down a little bit Wednesday, finished the week strong on Thursday and Friday. In terms of the Russell was actually is a bad week for the Russell, meaning small cap stocks, smaller stocks. So you see this. So it was down Monday, kind of sideways to up Tuesday, but down big the last 3 days. And talk a little bit about that because I actually have a couple small cap stocks that I work in, and particularly, so when you see this kind of on the NASDAQ and even a little bit on the Dow. So if you look at the Dow and look at the Russell, they're kind of similar. Russell's a bit more, the downward pressure in the Russell is stronger, but the NASDAQ is just the opposite. So what I would say to that is I noticed a couple holdings that I have that were pushed down pretty bad starting last week, actually. And so if you look here, so like I say, this was this week. You go to last week, it kind of peaked out the last Monday before last, the November 8th. But since the 8th, small caps has just been killed. So if you look at a percentage perspective, things are down pretty good. So you're talking about a 4% move down, but then some of the individual names are even being hit harder than that, right? And so let's look at the overall. Let's look at the S&P. So the S&P was up to sideways, kind of every other day, down, up, down, but still in an upward trajectory. So, but if you're holding any small caps right now, you're probably in a little bit of pain. So let's look at a few names here. So let's look at Apple. Apple was actually on a good run. It was a great week for Apple, actually. So if you was holding Apple, and Apple is a pretty big component of the NASDAQ, because I think the NASDAQ is like a weighted index. So if you were in Apple, you're smiling pretty good there. So I'm gonna compare Apple to, say, one of the small cap stocks. So let's look at this. This is a small cap stock. It's cheap, but just to illustrate the point, you can see here that this is a bad week for this particular small cap, just down. And then they got killed yesterday, right? So as an example, let me go to another small cap. Well, so I'm gonna do a comparison. Here's what is actually Boeing. I don't know what news came out on Boeing, but Boeing got killed this week as well. Look at another. Now, Chewy it's not a small cap. It's a mid cap to large cap, but kind of sideways. Let me see. We go to one of our favorites, Fubo. Fubo has gotten killed the last couple of weeks. And so if you go back here, remember when I said that small caps, they kind of peaked out November 8th, but since they've just been getting crushed. The stock here particularly is down 38% in 2 weeks. So as an example of a small cap getting beat down pretty good. So those are some of the names there. Now, if you compare that to like we looked at a couple of the big tech stocks. You look at Nvidia, in Nvidia. Um, it's just the opposite. So they started the week down, had earnings come out, and they had a good earnings pop. So Nvidia is doing well. Let's look at Facebook. Facebook kind of sideways for the week. Let's look at Netflix. Yeah, Netflix up sideways on Netflix. Here's another small cap in NDM. Go back to that. So they started even earlier than November 8th. It's like the 3rd. But look how big this percentage move is from the 3rd of November till yesterday. So they're down 30%. So if you're holding small cap stocks, you're probably in a little bit of pain right now. PLTR, I think they're probably a mid cap, but they've gotten crushed as well. So it's just interesting. Sometimes when this rotation happens, when they leave one sector and go to another, the selling can be brutal. So, and I think we're definitely witnessing that. Here's Square. Square has been in a downtrend for a while. You can see here. Hold on, let me see something. Kill this and extend it. So if you look at this downtrend on Square, they kind of broke the downtrend on Monday or Tuesday, but you can see it's resuming a downtrend. So, and even at support, so this 225 level, it looks like it wants to, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. If you're looking at Square, I would tell you to keep an eye on it at this level, this 225. If it can hold, it's actually a decent area because just of the pattern here, right? Look at this. It's 2, 3, 4, and then we're right here on that fifth point. So that 225 is interesting. And Square is the maker of Cash App, so popular payment application, send money. Yeah. So let's look at UPS.
Is it good time to enter there, Mike? The Square, the current one?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, if Square at this point, if you're interested in it, I would definitely say you can start some buying here at this 225 level, but I would keep an eye on it. And so I would buy, let's say, for instance, if you say you had, a portion of your portfolio, you say, you know what, I'm gonna start buying a little bit of Square here, and then if it drops down to this 210, buy some more. Because I think, at this area is a good entry. At this area, it would even be even better. And you have these points of support working in your favor. So these 4 that are marked here are showing support that it obeyed in times past. And if you get a further pullback, this 210 to 204, this area here is also strong support, particularly if it gets down to this 200 level. If it gets to 200, definitely buy Square. But you can start buying here. I wouldn't buy everything here. I wouldn't buy my full position here. I would just buy a portion. So maybe buy 25% there and then wait to see what happens. Now, we don't know if it's going to continue lower or this is going to hold as a support and it bounces and returns and go higher. But in that, you can look also at some of its competitors. So look at PayPal. So you can see PayPal is also in this downtrend. So if I just extend this, So, and you look here, PayPal is coming up to support right at 185. Square, PayPal. You can, let's say Visa and MasterCard. These are not direct. Yeah, it's not that one. It's Visa, V. Yeah. Visa is still in this huge downtrend. So even all this other stuff was tried to break it. It couldn't hold, but you can kind of see this downtrend here is still continuing lower from this 252 on Visa, right? And then, you know, follow that with MasterCard, right? So just in this space alone, for whatever reason, these stocks that are related to payments, digital payments, they just been in a funk. So why? I really don't know why, but they have been. And so just, you know, they just could be, you know, out of favor for whatever reason. All right. Let's see what we got on. Okay. So let's look. Let's go to your Wing and see how Wing did this week. Wingstop. All right. Wingstop. Actually, Wingstop came out with earnings and they got came down pretty big on earnings, but since earnings, they've had a good run. And it's pretty interesting. If you look at here and draw this box on Wingstop. Well, I'll say this. Let me erase this. So Deke, what do you see here? Let me stop 1 second. What do you see on this chart? If you're talking, Deke, I can't hear you.
What I've done with the wings, man, I bought some more of it. As a matter of fact, the last 2 weeks I have just staying with it.
Okay, that's actually good. So if you go back 2 weeks ago, you probably right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, 165 area. If you picked any, did you pick any up down here on this pullback? Down.
Yes, we did.
45.
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Hey, that's a good trade. Now, let me ask you, what made you buy more when it dropped down? What was your reasoning?
It just intuition, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Just looking at it, looking at it pretty much on a daily basis.
Okay. Good stuff. Were you familiar with the levels in terms of where you bought? Were you looking at the chart to see kind of where it pulled back?
Oh yeah, because I've had Wingstop for a while, so I've definitely been looking.
Okay, good stuff. And the reason why I asked that is because kind of knowing certain levels on these stocks that you own, if you know when a stock gets down to a certain level, it sometimes will take a bounce. Just like when we were looking back at that Square, and I said that 210, that 202 area, those are good areas, and right there we were at that 225. And then again here on this Wingstop, you can see that we're in a, so we definitely at this 116 was a bounce on Wingstop, but then it's up much higher there. And you can see this long candle pullback close to this 142, which was a support area. And then, so, if you would have been watching this as Deke was, and notice that, you're talking 22% in less than 3 weeks. So being familiar with your stocks and your levels is very, very important. All right. Good job, Deke. Let's see. I think I seen Vanessa. We just talked a little bit about NVIDIA, Vanessa. What do you see here on this chart, Vanessa?
It seemed like it recovered and it's starting to hit its new high.
Yes, ma'am. You still in it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
Good stuff. Let's check on your phone. Have you done anything with your phone?
I'm still in faux. It bounced back as well.
Did you buy any on this dip?
I didn't. I missed that one.
Okay. Yeah. Faux is interesting because definitely at this all-time high here. Yeah, so faux is a water ETF, guys. Vanessa brought this one to our attention, and it's been really doing well. And actually, if I just extend this uptrend,
You good?
because out of all of that noise, remove some of this.
Renee said that she ran out of here, driving in this U-Haul, and left the banner for the Moms Movement thing is in her car.
Go on mute for me.
What she got to go through?
On Glenwood, I told her you was in your class. But when does that end? Because I told her we were going to come down there between 1:30 and 2.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so in here, in terms of if you go back and you look at this longer term uptrend, this thing is still going. So you see you had this huge break of the uptrend. It went south and then it started back up. But if you just look how this stock still continues, now it's back to the upside here, and it's maintaining that, right? So this is a strong stock because you got a very hard bounce off of this 54, and now you recovered. So yes, I kept saying I was gonna buy some of that faux. I never did. I guess to my own regret. But yeah, good stuff on that one, Vanessa. Let's see. What else we got? Dre. Yeah, man, we hurting in this Fubo, dog.
Yo, we're getting killed, but we'll just hold out.
Oh yeah. But I need to go back in there and check because yeah, I'll check today on it and see what's in there. But on this Fubo, so even though we're at this point in the chart, move this up a bit, make it a little bit bigger. Even though we're at this point in the chart now, the pullback on this was treacherous, right? It's no easy
Once some
way to say
earnings
that.
came out.
Yeah, but if you look at this, we got precedence on this. So we had a huge pullback. So actually look at this. It's pretty interesting. So back in March, we hit this same area, 34, right? And pulled back to 14. Hope we're not going to 14. But you can see we definitely went down to this $20 level. And we're really close here at this 21.52 now. So you can see buyers came in at this $20 level, and I hope we're not going to take this further leg down. And so some of what we're experiencing is, in this case, is that you got just the downward pressure from the earnings, right? And then it came out with that inflation news literally the next day, and the whole market got killed. But then when I started the meeting talking about the rotation out of small caps, this is definitely a stock that got caught in that rotation. So there's a lot of selling in these small caps, and they're rotating to more of the big cap tech stocks and other things. So this is an example when a rotation occurs, the sector that you're in and the stocks that belong to that sector, they can just get killed. And that's what we're seeing here. But I still like what they're doing company wise. It's just going to take some time before this thing shakes itself out. So we'll make adjustments accordingly on the Fubo. But if anybody else is holding Fubo, I'm sorry.
So if it drops, let's say to like 18 or 16, which I see on the chart, that the lowest was 14?
Yeah, the lowest. Yep.
Should we go back in at that, or just hold off for a minute?
Oh no! If it gets down here and you want to add some more, definitely, yeah. I would say that's a good deal to do because the bounce is in our favor. The only thing that I would say and I'll have to go look and check a little bit on the news. I think the news and stuff is good. It's just that I believe we're just in a rotation, a market rotation. In this stock, the timing was just horrible in terms of they had earnings, came out with inflation news the next day, and you got a rotation out of small caps. So all three of those things were working against the stock. It's just, perfect storm. But I'm not worried about it. It's just some short-term pain right now. But overall, I'm not worried about it.
Well, we'll just keep our eye on it.
Yes, sir. Yep. Thank you, sir. Let's see. All right, come on. I think Siri was in. I think she was in Checkpoint. Let me see.
Yeah, charge point. Yeah.
Yeah, charge point. Okay. CHPT. Let's look at that one. Yeah, actually, charge point. So again, if you look here, look at this. We talked last week or a couple weeks ago. Charge point was in this downtrend, and it broke the downtrend, got to the upside. See the purple arrow here? Make it a little bit bigger for you. Got the purple arrow, and that shows the confirmation that the downside trend was over, and then it started an uptrend. So this has been a good stock, and you can see that this uptrend is continuing, right? So if anybody played this charge point or Siri still in it, and particularly if she bought some more, because this $20 level, we noted here that this is definitely strong support, and we got that confirmation here a little bit below 20, and it's just riding that. So again, use these areas on the chart and these techniques to help you to see when these pivots and turn happen. Now let me go back to that Fubo as an example. I'm going to show something. So what we saw here. So look at here. We'll do the same thing. So on Fubo, we're in this downtrend, right? For sure, in this downtrend. So what we're doing, we want to wait until we get a confirmation to the upper right-hand side. Now, just as we were talking about Fubo, we're looking at our horizontal support levels and say, okay, if it goes lower, we want to pick up some more because we believe in the value. But if you want to wait and wait for the confirmation, wait till you get a close to the right side of this channel. You get a close to the right side of this red line, then that's the beginning of a confirmation that the downward move is over. So, and we saw that here in the charge point, right? So let me just go back and show that one as an example, right? So the same downtrend, red line here, we waited till we got a close above that line, this green line, this green bar here was the beginning of that confirmation. Went sideways a little bit, dipped back down below it, but then you can see we just started riding that all the way up. And so having these downtrend lines and these uptrend lines will help you to identify patterns and see things when pivots and stuff occur in conjunction with your support and resistance lines. Okay. Let's see.
Got it, Mike.
Yes, sir. All right, that's all we got today. Let's tune in. So let's see something. Let me take a look at one more stock. All right. So PLTR. So PLTR is another example. Same kind of thing, right? Downtrend, getting close to. So if you pull the chart in a little bit, you can look and see, okay, look at this this 21 level, right? Support. And we're getting very close again to this area, right? If you like this company, this is an area when you want to start looking again to find, so you can use the horizontal support in addition with the trend line. So you can say, hey, I can start nibbling, knowing that I can still continue to go lower. But once you get a confirmation to the right-hand side of this downtrend that trend has reversed, I think this is going to be a good entry. So you look at this horizontal 2110 support. It's held before it. Now, it's not to say that it can't go lower, because we do have a precedence here that has gotten down as low as this 17, 18. But in recent memory, just got to pay attention to what the overall market is. If they continue to sell off small cap stocks, this may continue to go down. So you want to pay attention. So let me go back to the Russell. Let me show you something here. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to get back to my index. So you can put this in as a ticker, the RUT. So what you can do is same thing. So we're just going to draw this downtrend. All I'm doing is the top of this green candle here, and I'm taking the top of this green candle, and I'm just drawing just keeping the same slope of the line down, right? So that's how you draw the downtrend. And if you continue to see this over the next week, if this continues to go down, if you're in small cap stocks, and again, smaller stocks, in the way you look at small cap, you just multiply the price of the stock by the number of shares outstanding. So let's see, Russell, if it'll tell us. It's not what I want. Hold on. Oh, let me do Fubo as an example. All right, let me go back to Fubo. So just trying to find the number of shares outstanding. So if we go to financials here, go to statistics. Let's see, capitalization. It didn't really show me, but I can see that they got 144 million shares. So if you just take 144 times 21, so it's $3 billion company, right? And they're a little bit bigger, so they're probably a mid cap as opposed to small cap. But stock is getting, definitely see the stock in this downtrend. So I think though, again, to the point is, for these small cap stocks, you want to look and see if this, if you're holding any small cap stocks or even some of the mid caps, as long as it's continue to happen and go down from an index perspective, your stocks that are part of that index or closely aligns with that index, they're probably going to follow suit. So you want to continue to keep an eye on this. I want to show you. So I remember this happened, and this was back in February. Let me show you. February of this year. So here, like February 9th, right? So if you take this, let me just draw this trend kind of down. So we went down, and actually let me draw this box. So let me show you. So they started to sell these stocks off. They rebounded back in March. They got back up to a high, and they repeated this downtrend here in these small caps. And you can see here, they pretty much went sideways from February in this range all the way until, let me pull this back a little bit, all the way until like is that September? Yeah, September. You were just stuck in this range of going sideways. So this is like a 6 months, February to September. It was at 2 to 9. So like 7 months worth of sideways action before these things broke out and went higher. Now we're getting a pullback as well. So if you measure this pullback here, so about a 7% pullback, and where we are today, we're right at 4%. So if this thing repeats itself, in addition to where this previous low was, we can be looking at between 7 and 8%. And if it gets and it comes back within range, you could get back down much lower. So just want to keep an eye on this, because if this happens, if you're holding small cap stocks, your small caps are just going to go down because they're just rotating. There's a rotation out of them. Basically took a bunch of profits out of here, and now they're just going to move them. And so what we saw, if we compare that with the NASDAQ, so you can look at the NASDAQ or you can look at the Qs. So let me show you here. So sometimes I look at an ETF for a particular piece or the actual thing. So the NASDAQ is the NQ1. I'm sorry, not NQ1. That's the futures. The IXIC. This is the NASDAQ 100 index, composite index. But you can use the QQQs as the same. It's just a trust for the NASDAQ, right? ETF. But you can see here that the NASDAQ is actually, still going up. So I believe that. So just looking at the two differences in the Russell and the NASDAQ, you can see there's more rotation into the NASDAQ stocks and less coming out of the small cap stocks. So, and the way to play the NASDAQ, let's look at something here. Let's look at this trust. I want to see what it shows like the. So this is where you can Google this. Let's see, let me move this down. So I want to look at the actual components of the NASDAQ 100. And there we go. So, in the way that the NASDAQ is organized, it's kind of weighted. So Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, NVIDIA, Google, Facebook, Adobe, they're weighted where they take up. So the probably top 20 makes up the weighting for this heavily. So if we look at these, so we'll do Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, right? And let's look at those charts. All right, let's go back. Let's look at Amazon. If I can type. Man, what is Amazon? Forgot the ticker. AMZN. All right. So if you look at Amazon, right? Look at this trend that Amazon is in. Right. Take that one. I'll take this one. Actually, I'll take that one there. So you can see Amazon is in this uptrend. All right. We saw Facebook earlier. Facebook, they started their uptrend, came back down, and it's continuing the uptrend. So even if I extend this, so we say Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft. So you can see all of these stocks. So there's a rotation out of those small caps, but NASDAQ is running. And then I think the other one was Apple, and we saw Apple earlier. Apple had a big week this week, just this week alone, right? but you can see this uptrend. So there's just so this happens rotationally when they move from when the market moves from out of favor out of one sector into another. So you'll be good to hold some of the bigger tech stock names. And here, these are, you know, the top 10, top 20 are going to be some of the names that get more of the focus of those. So hopefully that was helpful to kind of help you see what some of the stuff that you hold and how it may or may not be performing, and it's part of a larger narrative, you know, that's going on. So any other stocks or things we want to look at? Because we kind of went through our list of what you all are holding. You got any other stuff that y'all want to take a look at? Put it up on the chart and see.
Mike, I'm keep hearing about the Lucid, right? Is it the right time to enter the Lucid, or is it already reached the max?
You know, Lucid came out Lucid came out, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's funny. This is this. That's weird. Oh, you know what? This might be a SPAC. Yeah. So I think Lucid came public last week. And I think they must have merged with a SPAC company. And the SPAC company is like these blank check companies. What they do, they get together, a bunch of people raise money, and then they go out and try to find a company to merge with, and then they end up bringing that company public. So even though the stock just recently started trading, you see all this other, you know, price points on here, but I think it was just as of last week or week before last. So yeah, Lucid is up. It's up a double from here, Kamal. Lucid is an EV car maker stock, so they're competitor to Tesla and some of the other EV companies. Yeah, you're up 100%, literally in what, 4 weeks, 3 weeks? Well, I think the stock only been trading like 2 weeks. This might be the second week, so it's up a lot. And this would be one, if you're interested in it, I would just take a portion of my monthly investment amount and just allocate some here. So buy a little bit every month for the next year, because and the reason why I say that is we just don't know what can happen. You know, this could be a good entry point here at 54, but you're already looking at, you know, a bunch of appreciation that has already happened. And so I just can't say specifically if should you be buying at these high levels, or will you get a pullback? You might get a pullback and you might not. And so when you don't know, you just have to measure your risk. And so the way that I would do is just start buying over time. Just buy a little bit every month until you get enough of the position that you're satisfied. And what that's going to allow you to do is, as other days to the right of here trade, either higher or lower, you're going to get the best price because you're going to be averaging in over time. And you don't have to guess all at once, because you can make the guess right here and be right, and it goes to 80 and you look like a genius. You can buy right here and be wrong and it goes to 27, and then you're like, man, I should have waited. So in order to kind of hedge that, just buy frequently, you know, over some long-term span. So that would be my advice.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Anybody else?
Mike, I see where Jeff Bezos bought about $20 million worth of Plenty. Take a look at that, see what exactly going on with that.
What's the name of the stock?
Plenty. Plenty?
Plenty? Yeah, I don't see. Is there a ticker on Plenty?
It was, yeah, Plenty. I say about $200 million worth. That's what it was. Plenty.
Yeah, I don't know what the ticker is on Plenty.
There was something like a dating app or something like that. I was kind of doing a little research on it. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, let's see. I'm searching as well. Oh, it's a startup. They're not even public yet.
Oh, that what it? Okay.
Yes, sir. So it's Plenty is an indoor vertical farming company.
What?
Uses less space and water
Try
resources.
MTCH. That's the match I got with it when I put it in there.
All right, let's
The
see.
initial MTCH.
Okay. Yeah, let me look up down here, because now it could be that they're coming in with a SPAC company. Trying to see. And I'll pull it up. MTCH. Oh, Match.
Yeah, the match group. That's what it was. The match group. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Match is so Match does like match dating site,
Right.
match.com. They're already out there. So I think what Match does is that they're in that space where I'm trying to get this moved over. They're in that space where they own a bunch of different dating apps. Match is just probably the more popular one that most people know, but they probably own many different dating app sites, and Plenty may just be another one that they purchased recently. But if you let's just chart this up real quick and see what we see. So we just find the highs and lows of this thing, like right here, and take this point here, these 2 points right here, split them in the middle, right there. Then you got some right in this area, a little bit in this area. I'll take here. Okay. So just looking at this, right now we're in a downtrend, coming up to support at 139, and then even lower support here at 131. This 131, when you see this should jump out to you. This is like, quadrant 5 bottom. I guess a quintillion, not quintillion, quintuplet or quint something. So you're getting close. So it's a quad right here, on the bottom. Coming down to the support of 139, and then you got support here at 131, but you're definitely in a downtrend now. And then earnings came out recently, got a bump off of earnings, but then you got a big pullback. So if you want to start, you could look here, see what happens at this 140, this 139, 140 level. Just start watching it. If you just pay attention to the downtrend, you can wait until you get confirmation to the right side of this before you start buying. If you want to buy early, buy a little bit at 139, buy a little bit at 130. But you're just using your charts. Now, if we go back a little further, so let's go to a weekly. All right. You see here, you got a long way to go till you catch some support here. If that 130 breaks, you got to go all the way down here to 101. If that breaks, you got to go down here to the 89, and then under there is this 66, right? So, but at least you have points, and by looking at a little bit larger time frame here, you can kind of see what happened, more in the past. So, I mean, that's just what I see chart wise. You may want to look at the fundamentals too. Just because Bezos bought it, you still got to see what they're doing, on a quarterly basis, and what their business model is, and do a little research on the fundamental side.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But I wouldn't necessarily discourage you, but just looking at the chart, want to start picking up some at 130, 140, 132, and definitely keep your eye on this 130 level. If it breaks below this 130, 128 at the lowest, you might be in for some heavy pullback if it can't hold that level and you get a lot of selling. Because if you do, then this 105 might be in play. And if you go from 30 what, 140 to 105. That's what 35 points. So you're talking about a 40% drop. So just be mindful of your levels.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I figure if he gonna drop 200 million on it, I probably can drop $20 just to see what it looks like.
Hey, absolutely. Good stuff. Thanks, Dick. Anybody else? All right. Well, I guess we got a short one today, huh? Any other just general topics, investment wise, trading? Any other ideas, topics, even if it's not stock specific portfolio? If not, we can wrap it up and
Wait. I can get off me fast enough. Okay, I was kind of hesitant to mention this, but my company stock, I'm using that to fund some of my stock purchases.
Mhm.
But I noticed that our company stock is almost like bottoming out. I mean, it's almost at its all-time low. And I'm kind of like, oh my goodness. I mean, I can't drop it because it's my company stock. So,
okay, what's the ticker?
GPN.
Global Payments.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, it hit its all-time high. Then all of a sudden, it's kind of like,
Okay. So think back when I'm not sure if you were on. We talked about this a little bit earlier. But look at PayPal. All right. Look at MasterCard. Look at Visa. Look at Square. Right. All of these are payment related. So if I go back to GPN, that sector is just getting killed right now. So they're being sold off with other stocks in that sector. So all of those that I just listed, all of those have been pulling back heavily. And they're caught in that, for whatever reason, payment related stocks are out of favor right now. And so what I would do is kind of like I just kind of ran through quickly of looking at those until you start to see some turnaround kind of in all of those names. You probably are just going to experience some more pain there. So really trying to draw. Okay, here we go. So you say we started this downtrend and then it even accelerated. So we started here and then it picked up from here and even it's almost like each leg's down. Slope gets worse. But
wow.
But one of the things here, you can see you topped out back in May of 18, right here at this 128. You got a good bounce. I'm gonna draw it right here.
Well, May of 18 is when they bought they kind of acquired our company. Our company was TSYS, but they acquired our company.
Okay.
Then kind of went up from there.
Okay, yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah, then COVID hit. So so this is right. So if you look at the COVID, this is a COVID right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're within 8 points of COVID bottom.
Wow.
I would start just looking at it. You could add more, but you want to also, again, keep an eye on what some of the competitors are doing. So PayPal, Square, and I'm not sure, so I know y'all do a bunch of payment processing where they do payment processing, but these are more app related, consumer apps where you all do more of the back end stuff. So,
yeah, we do credit card processing.
Yes. So really, I would follow more, look at what Visa and MasterCard are doing. Visa has dropped, but they're kind of consolidating, going sideways. MasterCard, let's see. Oh, that was MasterCard. I'm sorry. Visa. Visa's getting killed as well, right? What was is First Data also in you all's?
FIS and Fiserv.
Okay, FIS and Fiserv. Which Which one?
Yeah, that's it. That's
The first one, Fidelity
Yeah.
National Information.
Yeah.
I never knew that FIS stood for Fidelity. Okay, didn't know that. That's not the same Fidelity Bank, is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was just going to say, I didn't think they would. Yeah, but you can see they're getting killed as well, right? So if you say, hey, it was coming that downtrend, they tried to rebound, they got killed on. I don't know if that's earnings or not, but if you look here, this thing has just been brutally down. So, and when you look at your chart and that chart, they don't look too dissimilar from each other, right?
Okay.
It's for whatever reason, these payment stocks are getting killed. Anything payment related, bank, Cash App, PayPal has Vimeo, as well as PayPal. All of them are just in the toilet now for whatever reason. They're just out of favor. I don't know why, but they've been out of favor since May. Let's go back to PayPal. The PayPal hit its high in May. Okay, they hit their high in July. Let's look at Visa when they hit their high. Their high was in July as well. MasterCard, MasterCard, their high. So actually, this is probably just a rotation out of those stocks because coincidentally, most of these have had pullbacks in July. I think you all started a little bit earlier. Y'all started early. But even if I go to July, August, you can see that you guys started y'all's down leg, first, but then it got accelerated with that other stuff in the July, August timeframe, right? And you got caught possibly in that downturn that they just start selling everything in that particular sector off. So for whatever reason, payments, data services, they're just out of favor. But you're coming up to some good support. And if you wanted to keep, adding to it or buying more. Now, contrast this to what we talked about a little bit earlier. We saw that those NASDAQ stocks are doing really well. So actually you own one, right? So
Yes.
What I would say is if you want to, and now here's a gamble, well, I won't say a gamble, but here's a trade-off. NASDAQ are doing really well compared to those payment stocks that we just looked at. So you could rotate and buy some of the NASDAQ, or if you feel that this run in these tech stocks are gonna peter out pretty soon and there's gonna be a rotation back to value, then I would just continue buying, those payment stocks. But if you believe that they're gonna still kill the payment stocks and the NASDAQs are gonna do well, then just add to your NVIDIA position.
Okay.
So it's it's a trade-off. But yeah, so that's what I would say. But
Okay.
Just keep an eye on those competitors. Once one of them start to bounce a turn, see if it starts to lift and take some of the selling pressure off some of the other ones. Because I think what's happening is once there's going to be some rotation back into that sector, I think they're all going to turn because they're all getting beat up right now together. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining. We'll do it again next week.